Hi, welcome back to Study on Spotlight. So today we have Ivan from the Adelaide University. Today with us to talk about, well, obviously the Adelaide University. So what's any good news to bring us today?
Yes.
Well, welcome
hello.
first.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ivan Lee. I'm from Adelaide and a resident for more than 20 years in the city. I'm very lucky to be involved in the merger of the University of Adelaide and University of South Australia to creating a new Adelaide University. So it will be the newest university in Australia and it will be a mega university, very comprehensive, as you can imagine, merging the two established university into one. And we will offering more than 400 programs across 22 study areas.
That's quite a lot.
Yeah. So very exciting. And I'm currently involved in the merger, of course, to creating a new team, helping with recruiting the student. And very luckily, we already have the application open for the 2026 intake. And we are currently have received quite a lot of interest and applications as well.
So let's talk about, because it's the two biggest university in Adelaide and merging together in 2026. So some of our students and families also know that there's at the moment we have the University of Adelaide and the University of South Australia in Adelaide. So the two merging together, as you said, will become a mega university offering 400 degrees. So what are popular degrees, I should say, that Hong Kong students are interested in?
Yes, Hong Kong always a very unique market as well. And the student require very high standard programs, quality, and good reputation. So we continue offering a lot of flagship programs here in Hong Kong for the audience as well. For example, Bachelor of Medical Studies, Bachelor of Dental Surgery, Bachelor of Aviation, which will be delivered by the academic from the UniSA side. And also, a lot of allied health, which is getting very popular these days, which some of those programs, the entry is quite competitive, but there's alternative options as well for students. So we also have a big area for animal and veterinary science. So we are one of the 4 universities in Australia delivering a vet program as well. So yeah, very comprehensive, as I said. And if you want to study an area, just come and talk to DADI counselors, of course, one of the important partners for the new Adelaide University in Hong Kong, very experienced, and we look forward to help more students.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have a question because some degree program, for example, you just mentioned health science, let's say physiotherapy, occupational therapy, are quite popular among the Hong Kong students. So, and both University of Adelaide and University of South Australia currently offer both degree as well. So I have a question. When you merge together, does that mean that you have more vacancy for Hong Kong students or they keep it the same?
So we will be very lucky if we have that. But unfortunately, I think because the program is very unique and is monitored by the registration body in Australia. So that means we have to be comply with the frameworks and also because we want our graduate to be job ready and high quality graduates. So that means we'll keep the same places for those quarter-based programs. That's with limited international student number each year. So unfortunately, there will be no more seats, but for some programs, for example, allied health, like physiotherapist or occupational therapy, they will merge the 2 quarters from both sides of the uni. Right. That means we will be able to still, taking that many students, but just no additional at this stage. So until I think later on when, and a lot of this case, because you have to have the facility and, teaching academics to support the growth in certain discipline, that's maybe something for the new university to work towards in the future, for the future.
Right. So because as you said, mentioned the facilities, like student will be able to share or use both facilities from both universities. So how's that benefit the student of one is?
Yeah, I mean,
the access to both. But
as you know, the ranking of the subject ranking of those health and medical programs, one of the reasons is because of the facility and the teaching quality. That means, for example, the medical studies, student enrolled in the 6 years of medical studies. First 3 years bachelor, the last 3 years is called MD, Doctor of Medicine. So they basically from year 2 onwards, they will start to be practiced in a health simulation called Adelaide Health Simulation. That's the only simulation facility accredited by the Society of Health Simulation in Australasia. So that means our student will have the real personal experience on day-to-day basis, say learning environment from day one of their university until after 6 years. So when they actually graduate, entering into the workforce, they will have no issue to familiar with the environment in the hospital, because all the 6 years they practice in the similar environment with the same facility and the suction machine, the oxygens, all these. The only difference is they will be treated the real patient, and even though within their study they will have the opportunity to assess a patient. Okay, the patient will be an actor. So we have more than 60 casual actors acting.
They're professional.
They are very professional and being well paid to be assist our student in their learning journey to become the potential patient in the medical scenarios. So our student will be able to feel that the real case scenario while they're doing their assessment.
Right. And I have been to Adelaide. Actually, the facility is quite close to universities.
Correct.
And so it's quite easy accessible to students that are having that kind of stimulations and also having access to all these facilities around, as well as like 2 universities joining together. So basically, you're just making the whole Adelaide
as a university city.
yeah, because like Adelaide has the nickname of 20-minute city.
Yeah.
So everything's so close by, so different to other Australian cities as well. So, well, you said you have been there more than 20 years.
More than 20 years.
How have you seen then the changes and how's that developed over the years?
I would like to share a little bit of story about myself. So when I first touched down Adelaide, it feels very different. Say it's more than 20 years ago. And the city, how to say that? You feel like it's like a very small city, small town, because from the city, the airport to the CBD areas only took about 15 minutes. Which in a bigger city, even Hong Kong, right? Yeah. You'll take about 40 minutes to get into downtown. But in Adelaide, because the airport is not far away from the CBD area, make it a very convenient. So you don't really waste a lot of time between in your travels.
Yeah,
right?
I know that kind of
for sure. So my first impression is, when the driver said you're already in the city, and I said, really? Are you kidding me? So it's that convenient. So 20 minutes, you can reach to the vineyard, not Barossa, but Adelaide Hills. So Adelaide Hills is a very special and very famous for the Rieslings, and Chardonnay. You probably tasted as well. So, and then 20 minutes to the ocean, the beach as well. So it's a really easy going. And students really, they have a lot of choice to stay nowadays, at a rental apartment or in the CBD area, and the cost is really in comparison with some Eastern Coast cities. I think it's very affordable in that sense. So in my 20 odd years in Adelaide, I call it home now, right? I have my families as well. So people, I will say there's 3 very key factors that for students to choose Adelaide. One of it is the people, which they're very friendly, always provide assistance, support if you're in trouble. And it's also a very caring community. Each other, neighbors, they will look after each other really well. So I think you will find really easily to get involved in a lot of these conversations and then become a part of the community. So the second is about the vibrant. Say a lot of people thinking Adelaide will be a little bit boring. Okay, we always have that title, because
especially when comparing to Hong Kong, like
really busy, right? A lot of population, a lot of people around. But Adelaide is big in the area, but the population is not as big as Sydney and Melbourne. We only have 1.3 million people in South Australia. So considerably a small population, but we do have a lot of events. See the festivals in Feb, basically throughout the year. And then they have multiple 100 plus, 400 plus, 500 plus sports events. And also there's a lot of local natural attractions like Kangaroo Island, Adelaide Hills, all these areas for people to go and visit and explore. I think even for me, I spent about 20 years there. There are still places, new to me, I've never been explored in the past. So it's a really in that natural, easy way of living. And the last one I think is most important is I have to thank the local government as well, the South Australia government, because the government really supportive and create more and more job opportunities for the graduates, not just international student, right, but also for domestic student. So we now called Biomed City. That means health and medical science or related discipline or areas definitely become one of the key industry in South Australia, in Adelaide.
And we're talking this federal government level funding.
That's right. Fundings from state government, from federal government, and also the investment from the companies and entrepreneurs, right? And then we also call it a technology hub. So we have the Lot 14 technology present. Now have over 100 companies, worldwide companies that funding their home in Adelaide, including Australian Space Agency, Google, Amazon's Thinking Lab, all these kind of technology hub. Now they have a present in Adelaide. So that will definitely increase the job opportunity, especially for our health and medical science graduates, as well as technology engineer graduates. For business, there's also an entrepreneur hub as well. We're the first university actually. The foundation university of the University of Adelaide is the first university offering the entrepreneurship degrees. So we have Think Lab, which is the kind of facilitating students with some innovative and new ideas.
So they can start their ideas when they're studying already.
And then they can actually have their theory into a practical, and then start to making money or form a organization in the long-term run. And some of them receiving fundings from whoever the sponsors, normally is an industry sponsor, who thinking, this idea is great, let's invest in it. And students getting the benefit, the real life experience. And once they graduate, obviously they will continue running their business. And I think that's really a seamless transition from uni degree into the work and career.
So why the industry decide to invest in South Australia rather than big cities where everyone think, more job opportunities, more university graduates in big cities, or more the resources that they have? But why they particularly choose South Australia then?
Yeah, I think government definitely done a lot of things, make Adelaide as a destination, right? But also I think university ourselves, we have a lot of really reputable academics, and they have all these connections.
Right. How many years of the universities?
Okay, so you mean between the two?
Yeah, between
together,
the two,
we have over 180 years. So the University of Adelaide have 150 years of teaching and learning excellence. And UniSA is a younger university, but again, it's over 30 years. So we have combined about 180 years of delivering and have this network with local, national, international organizations and personnels. So I think that's very easily for us to connect our student with people from anywhere basically in the world. And then we are really going to deliver a lot of projects based on industry need. So that provide our own student a lot of opportunities while they're studying their degree.
Yeah.
So one of the new curriculum, I will maybe touch on that as well, is the work integrated learning. So that will be embedded into pretty much all coursework degrees. That means student will be able to use their real experience from, obtained from industry and then towards their degree. So they can get credit towards their degree. I think that will be definitely opening up a lot of opportunities, especially when they finish up and trying to find a job later on.
And I think that's, especially in the modern days, quite important with that work integrated learning. Because studying, I still remember when I was in uni, your professor or your lecturer just throw a bunch of theories that to you and you study from books, literally on papers, from words. But how that really adapts into the real life situation in the company, in the project is kind of like I kind of like, wait, what? Have a guess? Maybe that applies, maybe that fits in. But it's quite useful if that really the course curriculum embed with that like actual project, actual situation.
Yes, that's absolutely right. So say my own example, as a graduate, as an alumnus of the University of Adelaide, I have done my 4 years engineering degrees back many moons ago. Not recently, but while I'm studying, the last year is actually you have to do an engineering project.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a application of your knowledge into a real scenario. So we actually designed and made a 3-wheel belt track. So tricycle. So it's like a motorcycle, but running by canola oil, cooking oils.
Okay.
And then we travel from Darwin.
And you extract the canola oil
yes,
yourself?
Yeah. So we consumed about 300 liters of canola oil, cooking oil, and we drive that tricycle from Darwin back to Adelaide. Over 3,000 kilometers. Okay, by using that diesel engine. So which is, 6 of my classmates involved in this project. So that's apply all your physics knowledge, all your engineering knowledge into a project. And nowadays, say health and medical science student, they will be in that other health simulation or dental simulation facilities day and night. So basically, they will do hands-on practice anytime while they're studying. So they will be learn from the practitioners, current, dentists, doctors, academics, right? And they will learn their skills and apply straight away to the day-to-day scenarios and learning. So I think that's really, one of the examples that how this kind of interactive and engagement will give our student, especially international student, and international student normally will receive some additional support, not just only academic support, but also professional support, like career support. So we have a career and employability unit that have a program just for international student, and every year we run about 2 to 3 times major career expos, invite industry to the university and talk to our student. And then we have seminars along the year as well. So they will receive many information, during their studies. Not 100%, everything have to be academic, but also will teach you how to deal with your life, the real life issues. So we provide international student support as well. So I think the support service is maybe more interested by parents, but sometimes students themselves didn't realize there are so many free support services that offered by universities. So we are one of the example. I'm sure that other universities also offering all these support services. So all they need to do is to ask questions. I think that sometimes can be a a little bit different.
But true. Because like international students often think, well, I'm an international student. Well, in our mindset, maybe we are a minority in the community. To be honest, like maybe it takes about like 20 or 25% of the university total population. So international is the minority. So we might think, well, all these career events, all these like support is not targeting for us or not tailored for international students. So I remember when I was in university, I kind of have a feeling, well, yes, I am studying, I'm a student, but because of my international student identity, would I get the equal chance or equal support as a domestic student, or would I get, it's kind of have that kind of uncertainty, it's kind of I'm scared to ask question in a way.
Correct. So that's why university, using ours as an example, creating a lot of opportunities for international students. So we have a lot of programs that talk to Aussie. Is one of the program offered by international student support. So the purpose of that program is basically force you or highly recommend or encourage you to talk to Australian people, local, staff. It can be another student.
But when you say force them, like how? Like literally just put them in a room and just you talk.
Basically, of course, it's most of the time it's voluntary. Right? It's not going to. But I say strongly encourage them to be connected, because we will send them multiple emails or communications to say, hey, there's a really good program and there's a people there ready to talk to you and to share their life experience. And in return, you can share the same with them about your culture, about your family, your journeys, right? Or any issues that you may find is that you can ask them for an answer, and they will be really very much, provide that kind of perspective. So that program is very successful, and to be honest, we have a lot of international students benefit from it. Sometimes they may suffering some personal issues, and we have counseling support. It's a private counseling support that provide to them in those setups, a very safe environment. But as I said, my first job, come back to me, my first job actually, as being an international student, still studying a Bachelor of Engineering degree, year one, my first job is actually called arrival officer. So arrival officer is to pick up new international student from the airport.
While in year one?
Yeah. Okay. When I was still studying, right? But there's an opportunity to say, yes, we have these casual job opportunities. Is anybody interested? And then obviously I know how to drive. I was an international student back then, so I understand the challenge, or while they first touched down in a really strange environment. So yes, and I continued that job for about 3 years throughout my bachelor degrees, and meet so many students. Some of them are becoming my friend now. After many years. Right. So it's a very rewarding, and see the opportunities maybe just next to you. All you need is to ask and to find out. And this is just from one of the many of the opportunities our support service actually provided. So I start with that, and then I actually get into this my current job, because the manager of that international student center back then recommended me to this job. Yeah, so see, that's where you'll find your opportunities. And you just take it, and since I'm in this industry for more than 15 years. So,
especially like Adelaide is like a university city, like where it's like a lots of students, not just international but domestic students come. And I remember joining a tour to Adelaide as well. And when I arrived, there's like a group of like students, like maybe from University of Adelaide or UniSA, to welcome us. And it's quite, and they kind of like tag along us with the tour as well. So it's kind of always start from small bit, and then they kind of build up their network, and as well as not just the network within the university, but also with other schools as well. And then slowly to build up their career. And that's just
many of my colleagues in the university, so who is look after inquiries, who is look after customer service in some of the faculty setups, their first job is always like volunteer jobs, right? and they become ambassador, student ambassador, which is like really you share your experience to your with your peers, right? And then they find their job after. So university, even just for one of the foundation universities like the University of Adelaide, have over 3,000 staff, right? So there's a lot of job opportunities, even now outside the university environment. So so I think just how you treat it, how you position yourself is important. But I think Hong Kong student is always very independent. So I think that's definitely a strength of Hong Kong students. And then all they need to do is focus on their study, of course, but look for the opportunities outside, university or within the university.
That's true. And I just want to go back and touch on the technology side, because you mentioned about Lot 14 and all these like tech companies, startups, and based in Adelaide. And I just want to wonder, since after COVID, actually we haven't touched on this kind of topic without it, but since after COVID, the way of learning has changed our students quite a lot, because like we have been COVID or locked down and moved to online classes and all these like experience. So how the university adapt technologies into the teachings as well, and to adapt how students learn like in nowadays, like pretty much it's quite different to us as well. Back at our time, it was just books, like physical, tangible stuff. But yeah.
I mean, life can be busy, especially for our international student, right? They may have a part-time job. They may have some important events to attend. So actually nowadays, I think comparison when I actually studying is very different. So all the lectures will be recorded. A lot of online conversations with lectures during the business hours or after business hours. So you can access those support and services pretty much 24/7. Okay, a lot of time you will receive a response straight away, but sometimes it's within 24 hours you will receive a lot of this. And student will be communicate and engage in a small group environment as well, because it's a lot of group assessment, right? So they will be connecting with each other by using a very safe environment like system or software or platforms, and they will be sharing their ideas and works.
So it's like a forum.
Correct. Yes, it's more like a
system.
forum, but with
For academic users.
for academic users and with IT support as well. So if they're suffering anything, they know where to find the help from. And also that platform is very secure. So you see now is a lot of cybersecurity issues, right? So the university will provide them, and we invest a lot to upgrade infrastructure, IT infrastructure as well, to make our software and tools suitable for today's teaching. And one of the curriculums actually for the new Adelaide University is also the digitally ready, digitally rich in our learning and teachings. The student won't be, if they need to travel back to, say, Hong Kong to visit their families during their study period or holiday period, they still can very much access 100% of their materials and things online,
right,
to continue, doing their assessment. And AI is, like ChatGPT, DeepSeek is a lot of topic on that. So I think the academics now is very innovative to how we can use AI, those tools, to help students, help research. Because the new university, again, is still very research intensive. So we want more students to come and talk to us, study with us, and then later on can be very kind of very much into one area, into the research. So we will have a lot of funding from government, from industry. So that technology reach will always, enhance the research outcomes. Right. So I think at the end of the day, that will be the ultimate goal for the upgrading of these technology use.
Because it's inevitable that
exactly you need to use the AI to service people to make our work better, right? Yeah, that's always going to be the central piece of the university. and how we're going to engage with our community, with different people within the community as well. Yeah.
Why? Well, thank you for us to introducing Adelaide, the new Adelaide University to our audience today. So before we wrap up, so any advice to our students or to our parents who's planning to study into Australia or maybe thinking to Adelaide?
I think Hong Kong families already invest a lot into the study education of the generations, and there's a lot of comparisons into say which university or which country. So I think one of the advice I want to provide is before you get search for the program, the disciplines, also trying to understand the environment, like the destination. So say today I talk about Adelaide as a city and South Australia as a state, and what is the strength and the key industry of that area, right? So I think that is a fundamental understanding, because a lot of universities are offering similar programs. So how you differentiate sometimes can be ranking, sometimes can be academic outcome, graduate qualities, but also it's important to understand the environment the student will be, right? How supportive the university community will provide to the student, or the normal community, the society will provide to the international student, because they will study by themselves, right?
Yeah. And it's not a long journey. It's only like 4 years, maybe maximum 5, 6.
Exactly. And then if you study a bachelor degree, a master's degree, maybe research later on, it can be 6, 7 years. So myself, I think I made a lot of people and a lot of my friends from study time. So they will be the same. So how safe, environment that will be, I think that's definitely something to be considered. But again, financially as well, because study abroad can become quite expensive these days, especially inflations, everything is going up. So also affordability assessment for a whole family, I think that's definitely something to be considered as well. And Adelaide, as a study destination, we definitely have the benefit of the lower cost, especially the living cost. And also, if you talk about some part-time job, we also advise on average, student can earn up to like $22 per hour as a part-time job. Of course, there's a time limit of 48 hours per fortnight, but this is something, if they want to get involved in some of the experience, why not? Go and find a part-time job. But the condition is focus on study. Make sure that you manage, your study is manageable. Then after that, you can find a part-time job. Yeah. But I think affordability is definitely another benefit for in Adelaide. And I learned until by October this year, 2025, I think Cathay Pacific will plan to return to Adelaide.
Really?
Yes.
Direct flight? We've been waiting for long.
I think it's still some final negotiations, but yeah, we will be welcoming Cathay Pacific a direct flight from Hong Kong to Adelaide by the end of this year. So that's something really much look forward.
Yeah, that's really good news.
Correct.
Yeah. So yes, because I remember a few years back, I met some of our students in Adelaide, and they quite enjoyed their life.
Yes.
They wasn't, well, obviously comparing to Hong Kong, a city lifestyle is not somewhere comparable to Hong Kong. But when they studied there for like a few years, after a few years, they really enjoyed the life there, to be honest. Yeah. Like, as you said, it's really close to the beach. And then they would just, I think one of our students have a motorbike. They just like biking to the Adelaide Hill, to Barossa Valley, and all these like that.
We also have a motorbike club.
Oh.
Yes. So students actually love the motorbikes. They get together and they will be traveling somewhere, Adelaide Hills maybe, over the weekend. Yes.
Yeah,
so it's very vibrant student community as well. We have over 180 plus clubs. Anything, Harry Potter, Harry Potter clubs, dancing clubs, chase, all this fencing as well. I think fencing in Hong Kong nowadays is getting really popular because we have Olympic medalist. So I think that's all the life, you come and enjoy, not just, studying. Of course, it's important, but also to experience the culture. That's right. We always say work-life balance, right? But also study and life balance as well at the same time.
I think like at the age of like 20 is quite a critical time when you kind of explore yourself and explore your life as well.
Yeah.
Like you kind of finding your way, what to do next. I mean, maybe you're thinking about your career, where to go, but at the same time, you're finding who you are. And if you study in a very busy and bustling environment, and sometimes I do feel going to a different kind of environment is kind of allow the space to really let you think and really understand who you are, and then make a decision really based on the knowledge that you have. So I think Adelaide actually is quite a unique place that allowing students to have the opportunities to explore themselves and really finding their next steps. So yeah.
Have so many good coffee shops, by the way. So people will be enjoying a cup of coffee, It's always the coffee culture, right? In Australia. And I think we do have a lot of these quite unique places for peace of mind, really. Yes. And wine as well.
Really good in the winery and
very unique.
They do have a degree specific for winemaking, if anyone is interested.
Bachelor of Viticulture and Enology.
Yes.
So it's a 4 years program, but it's really rewarding. And we are really taking much 70% of the wine research in Australia.
Because most the Australian Valley, especially for wine lovers, so we Shiraz, Riesling, Chardonnay,
so many wine regions across South Australia. I think we are very lucky to be in that environment. But I mean, over 400 programs to choose from. I think you definitely will find something in their mind, in the areas that of their interest as well.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jade.
Thank you. So if any one of you are interested in Adelaide University, so feel free to contact us or contact Ivan for further information. And we will see you next episode then. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.